Hey guys, it's John back again, and I wanted to take a second and talk about the relationship between love and fear. As you know, I say God is love. John the Apostle said God is love. And if God is love, we have our fear to experience the separation of love so that we can experience love fully. It gives us the opportunity to understand what love feels like, because you can't know what love feels like without the absence of it. And the absence of it happens when we have fear, because our fear masks the love that is always there. And so we get driven into our fears and we lose sight of our love. But a lot of metaphysical communities and New Age thinkers have tapped into this love and fear thing, and they've put it out there a lot, and I'm grateful about it. Then they start to tap and add other things around it. But I wanted to go back and look at how old this really is, and I go back to one of the early teachers, a guy named John, in the Bible. Look at this quote and tell me how much this relates to what I've been talking about. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear involves punishment, and the one who fears is not perfected in love. That is directly from the first book of John. And to me, this is important, because this is truth. This is proof that what I'm talking about comes from the source, comes from Jeshua himself, right? God is love, and our fear is something that needs to be perfected out of ourselves. We need to have our eradication of fear, as Buddha would say. Fear, our fears keep us separate. When I talk to people in my private sessions, which are kind of like readings, and people often ask me what's in one of those sessions. Those sessions are all very different and unique for each individual. Sometimes there's channeling, sometimes there's psychic reading, sometimes there's redirection of a path, sometimes there's a quick meditation. It all depends on. When I do a session like that, I open myself up, and whatever comes through for that person is what happens. I don't have a set anything for those sessions. I just open myself up, and a lot of times I'll start getting information, half an hour before, and I'll start taking notes. But that's one of those sessions are. But when I'm doing those sessions, one of the things that I find interesting, it all comes down. Every session always comes down to two things: what is your fear, and what is your belief about your present moment? What is your fear, and what is your belief about your present moment? Because your present moment is where your fear lives. Fear doesn't live in the future, and fear doesn't live in the past. Fear only exists in your present moment. And when you're in your present moment and you're accessing or processing through your fears, it's going to limit your experience, no doubt, absolutely. You're gonna do and say things that are completely contrary to living a loving life, completely contrary to being with God. Now, I have a personal belief that all fear comes down to the fear of not being loved in some form. When we talk about love, some people will automatically gravitate to romantic love, and this is not romantic love. And the majority of quote-unquote romantic love is lust anyway, primal urges. But when we talk about love, we're talking about acceptance for who we are, basically. And there's sometimes in our lives that we feel disrespected. That's the fear of not being loved. There's some times where somebody does something against our race, creed, color, name it, gender, and we feel instantly like we're not loved because they're judging our whole broad spectrum of or general popular specific group, basically. So it all comes down to the fear of not being loved. So they talk about those who have perfected love, fear cannot exist. And those who believe in punishment and things of that nature have not perfected themselves in love, because you love is pure. Love is a pure energy, and fear is just a fog machine. And I talk about this in another video. Imagine yourself just completely surrounded with nothing but love, but right next to you there's a fog machine, and your hand is on the knob. And you can crank it up and not see the love, or you can crank it down and see all the love. But it's you who has your hand on the knob. It's you who has the power to change your perspective, to reduce your fears. Fear, as we've talked about in other videos, is simply negatively focused uncertainty. It simply is a negative focus. And God says, whatever you ask in God's name is granted. Well, your negative focus will come right out of your mouth in present moment I am statements. I am afraid. I am poor. I am, unlovable. I am unable to, not capable of. These are all I am statements based in some fear that has been labeled into your consciousness by some experience with either someone or something. And it literally comes down to eradicating the present moment fear. And the more you can eradicate your fear, the more you reach the enlightenment. Well, what is enlightenment? Well, if you think about love and fear, one of them is light and one of them is dark. Enlightenment means becoming more with the light. It also makes you feel lighter. It makes you rise up, go higher, right? That's this feeling, this enlightenment. What did Buddha say? The secret to enlightenment is the eradication of fear. It all comes down to this idea of you working the fears out of your life, working the fears out of your present moment. Realize your present moment is the only moment you have. It is the only moment you're conscious. Your past is just a collection of present moment memories, and your future is just a place where you set goals for your next present moment. But there's only one moment that you are truly alive, and it's this present moment that you're in. And if you could take this present moment and make small, very small, fearless moments, very small, fearless, love-filled moments, successful, present, small, love-filled moments, what happens is you start stacking those into your subconscious mind, and you start changing your belief system all the way around, and your subconscious mind becomes more and more geared towards loving, right? And these small present moments can be totally in alignment with a goal you've set for the future that is a loving outcome. And if you've got a goal set for the future that's a loving outcome, and you start stacking present moments here that are loving, you're in alignment with your outcome, so that outcome is going to come to you, and it's going to surround your experience. So remember, your creative process, your creative power comes with being fearless in your present moment, being loving in your present moment. And in this present moment, realize that one little tiny moment is the pinpoint of creation. That one little tiny moment where you can be loving either to yourself or to others. That one little moment is the pinpoint of creation. And you can take that one little moment and stack it behind you as a memory and create another small little moment that looks just like it or even better. Stack it behind you in present moment memory. And this subconscious mind behind you changes. And now all that fear and anxiety from what things have done to you in the past, people have done to you in the past, circumstances that have given you limited belief, gets replaced with this fearless, loving moment until you finally stack enough back there that all that other junk is pushed way back. And now you're in this space of manifesting love from the subconscious mind, focusing on love in the future and living love here. If you want to get to where you want to go, if you want to get to that space of enlightenment and reaching your Christed self, you need to live loving now. Live loving now, because you can't do it tomorrow. You're never in tomorrow. You're only in today. So stay in today and live loving. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.